It's our last show of 2015. Stay tuned for some of the best plays of the season. Coming up later, this is the OJ Today. Hey folks, I'm Alex Baschovanski. On the program this week, Thomas Milne, head coach and GM of the Aurora Tigers, will join me to chat about his team's play so far. Also, we'll have a feature story on Markham's Aaron Spivak. And as mentioned, we'll have a whole segment dedicated to some of the top plays of the season so far. But first, Whitby and Cobourg were front and center from December 13th through the 19th as the World Junior A Challenge came to town. This was a huge undertaking, the first time the OJHL had ever hosted it, and we take a look back now at the incredible event. Two communities, one incredible event. Whitby and Cobourg stepped up in a big way in December as they hosted the 2015 World Junior A Challenge. With big crowds, big hits, and even bigger goals, the event was an unqualified success.
So when we tried to bid for this event, we wanted to make sure we heighten the brand of the OJHL and Junior A hockey in the province of Ontario. And this is the first time we've ever been able to hold it. This is the reason why we shut down our league. There's no more games this week. All of our fans, players that aren't here, everybody can come into it. So it's a huge promotional opportunity for the League of Choice. And that's what we branded ourselves as. And to be able to put this type of event in our own backyard is just unbelievable.
Well, for our organization, it's huge because this is the 10th anniversary of the event. It's never been held in Ontario. So for Hockey Canada to provide it to the Whitby Fury and the Cobourg Cougars, there's so many kids that play hockey, and only so many kids get to wear that maple leaf on the front of their jersey representing the country. And it's I wish I would have got it when I was playing for the Oshawa Generals. I got myself and my line mates got snuffed, so it's good to see that 22 young kids get to represent their country and enjoy it. And the atmosphere in here will be unbelievable.
We were extremely pleased and happy with how the World Junior A Challenge ended up, certainly as a whole event and specifically in Cobourg for us. The fans were treated to the hockey that we expected, fast, exciting, from all the preliminary games right down to the gold medal game.
Tournament was run first class from start to finish. The guys in Whitby, Cobourg, we can't say enough how much, not only myself, the rest of the coaching staff, the other players, the interpreter that was in the same hotel as us from the Russian team, was first class.
Team Canada East had 11 players from the OJHL on its roster, and their contributions were massive. Tyler Rollo of the Oakville Blades led the team in scoring with 6 points, with Wellington's Luke Brown close behind with 5. After dumping Switzerland 8-3 in its first contest, Canada East faced its storied rival, the Russians, on Monday the 14th in Whitby. The crowd was packed with Whitby minor hockey players, some of whom offered up their predictions for the big game.
We watched the Russia and Canada practice, and Russia's looking pretty good, but I think Canada's going to beat them.
Go Canada!
Unfortunately, the Russians triumphed 6-1 in a game that was much closer than the score indicated. Canada East were pitted against the Czech Republic in a quarterfinal contest and were able to squeeze out a 3-2 victory. The semifinal game in Cobourg against Canada West was an epic back-and-forth encounter. Ultimately, the West prevailed 8-5 and would go on to defeat the Russians in the gold medal game. Canada had to regroup and play the United States for bronze the next day back in Whitby. Toronto Junior Canadiens head coach Mario Ciccillo was an assistant coach on Canada East, and he shared his thoughts on the 7-1 loss to the Americans.
Guys, mentally, I thought, okay, we're pumped to play that game against USA. But you could tell already after the first couple shifts, it looked like we had all left our gas. The West game.
That was noticeable, yeah.
And it looked like, from on the bench that we were skating on quicksand. USA is a real good team. You know what? They're on the offense every time they get the puck. Yeah. So you have to have your A game against them.
Sure, it's a lot faster. It's a lot smarter. You got to be just as fast. You got to be just as smart. You got to compete harder, and you just got to everything's pretty much faster, and you got to focus on that.
For Coburg fans, this is just the start, as in 2017, they'll be hosting another huge event, the Royal Bank Cup.
Obviously there was a great economic impact to the town of Coburg and our county, and again, it was just a real excellent lead up as we're hosting the RBC Cup next year, to treat fans to what it's like to fill our rink and the excitement surrounding it, and are very excited now heading into this RBC Cup year.
So a fourth place finish for Canada East, nothing to sneeze at, and it gave the players the thrill of a lifetime, being able to pull on the Canadian jersey for the first time.
It's a great honor to be chosen out of all these great players. It's just it's unbelievable, and to have the logo on the front and representing your family on the back, you couldn't ask for more. Almost all my family members out coming to watch me, and could hear them in the stands, and it's really supportive, and it's a great feeling, that's for sure.
Being a hometown kid here, I have tons of support. Family, friends, they all make the drive up to Whitby from Coburg. Obviously, it's a huge honor. I mean, being selected out of as many kids as there were at the camp, to be able to represent my country and put on the jersey, just a huge honor. Get to represent family, friends, and obviously the whole country, so it's a really special feeling.
And welcome back. Well, the Royals have been a huge success in their first year in Markham. Currently, they're battling it out with Aurora for top spot. This is a team that is loaded with offensive firepower, and one of their main snipers is Aaron Spivak. And we take a closer look now at the Thornhill native in this week's player profile. When the Royals were preparing for their inaugural OJHL season last summer, they knew what they'd need to be competitive right out of the gate. Skill was obviously high on their list, but so was experience. Enter Aaron Spivak. Head coach Mike Galati had observed Spivak through 5 previous OJ seasons with 3 different teams, and he was a player the coach just had to have.
He's a leader. Since the first day he stepped on the ice here, he's a good leader, very good offensively, and I was really surprised at how good he is defensively. Watching him over the years, I've been a big fan of his as a player, but he's a good leader here, great in both ends of the ice, and we're excited to have him.
I consider myself to create offense, so if it's me passing it so we score, so be it. If it's me receiving that pass and putting it in, or is it me shooting, it just so happened that this year has turned out so far that I'm finding guys who are open, guys are creating lanes. I'm playing with 2 players, Tyson Bruce, who's a great shot, shoot first player, Anthony Valco, who's got speed like no other. So I'm trying to utilize them, and if they're open and they're going, we try to feed them as much as possible and create offense for the team.
He works hard, leads by example. He's my centerman, he's a great line mate. He never gives up on a play. He looks for you out there. It's great having him.
Spivak going, good place. Spivak currently sits second in team scoring to line mate Tyson Bruce with 38 points in 33 games. As the 20-year-old has matured his game over the years, he's learned the importance of being responsible at both ends of the ice.
I try to bring a positive attitude when I'm on the ice. I try to create offensive plays and as well defensive. As I gotten older in this league, I've noticed how important my defensive game is. First coming into the league at 16, 17, you want to prove yourself. You want to score as many goals as possible. And as I've grown in the league, I've really adapted my game to not only chip offensively, but really support the defensive end of it, because at the end of the day, you can score as many goals as you want, but if you don't stop them, you're not going to win too many games.
Spivak will go down in Markham Royals history as the first ever team captain, a responsibility he takes to heart.
When I got the news that I would be the captain, first of all, it was a great honor. Technically it's the first in Markham Royals history, under the new name, under the new ownership. So I want to kind of create that culture here. I'm very fortunate to have 9 guys my age on the team. I'm not necessarily, coaching a very young team. So for me, it's been the easiest thing ever because a lot of guys here are leaders on their own. A lot of guys have been leaders in the past. So all I got to do is do my best and make sure I'm setting that example. But at the same time, there's a lot of guys here who, who lead in their own way, which is I feel is the most important on a team because everybody's got to be leaders on a team.
He can be vocal at times, but I think mostly leads by example. He's been in the league for a few years now, so he has a lot of experience, and I think that brings a lot to the table for our team. We're an older team, but still he has probably the most experience on the team, and he leads by example. He's vocal when he needs to, though. He gets his point across, but he's a great leader.
He's one of those kids that stepped into the dressing room and the boys respected right off the bat. He took that respect onto the ice and was our leader from day one. And he's earned it.
Spivak's goal is to further his hockey career while at the same time continuing his academic pursuits.
Yeah, I'm surprised, and I tell everyone that that this kid isn't committed. He's a great player on both ends of the ice, and he should be right now because he's one of the best players in this league.
Ideally, I'd like to get a Division I scholarship, but right now in my career, my ultimate goal is to win. So obviously moving forward, you want to take in all the best possible offers and the possible options you can, which is best for you. And at the same time, you want to make sure that you're also going into a good school with good academics, because very few people actually make it to the big leagues, and that is the ultimate goal of, I'm sure, everybody in this league and other junior leagues. But you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success, whether it be with hockey or with school or maybe just school. But you really want to. The ultimate goal is to win and obviously move on.
Okay, OJHL trivia for this week, and your question is: who is currently the OJHL's top scoring defenseman this season? There's nobody within a mile of this guy, so just check out the scoring leaders. And pretty easy one, actually. And you can win an OJHL prize pack. The first person with the correct answer to email Isaac Westgate, that's iwestgate@theojhl.ca, wins the prize.
Speech plan? Well, we do a pregame meeting that we did already. Yeah. But we do like a fun thing to announce our starting lineup. Yeah. So on the line, they go. Oh, I like that. I'm canceling purple. No cancel. Let's make sure for the first 5 minutes we've got to set the pace. Get pucks in deep. A lot of touches. Okay, let's play together. Let's communicate. We got Harris. One right. We got Nolan.
Welcome back to the OJ Today. I am joined now via Skype by the head coach and general manager of the Aurora Tigers, Thomas Milne, a man whose name I've also been butchering this year, but he's given me the correct pronunciation. Milne it is. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
Yeah, so let's chat about the Tigers. Quite a season so far. You guys got off to a bit of a slow start, so there was a coaching change, and then you were brought in. But neck and neck with Markham right now for first place in the North. How do you assess the team's performance so far this year?
Well, when I took over, nobody likes a coaching change, and there's a bit of instability going on. Now it's starting to level off now with some changes we've made. Place had a bit of a dip with injuries. Markham's overtaken us now, and we're looking forward to the second half of the season, and it'll be a good battle right to the end. That first seed in our conference is very important.
Yep. when you took over, this is actually your 4th stint with the Tigers. You've been an assistant the other times, but when you took over the team from Mark Joslin after the slow start, how familiar were you with the team this year?
We had 10 guys returning from last year. I thoroughly thought I'd be back to start this year, and then an ownership change happened a week before main camp, and the owners brought in their own people, which they have a right to do. They're the new owners. And then it didn't work out for whatever reason, and they asked me if I would come back. And, you know, we mended a few fences, the ownership group and I, and everything's been fine since.
Yeah, obviously shows in the standings. One stat that pops out right away when you check out the standings and the different statistics are goals against. Now, aside from Trenton, who are kind of just on a different planet right now, they've only allowed like 53 goals on the season. You guys have the 2nd best total in the league thus far, 84 allowed. Obviously, your defense and your goaltending have been doing a great job this year.
Well, part of the mainstay of the Royal Tigers the last 2 years, coaching with J.R. Richmond, Mississauga, themselves on defense, and we were pretty low in goals against. I believe one year we were the lowest. And at the end of the day, you know what they say, defense wins championships, so you might as well start practicing it now, because you've got one season, which is the regular season, and then you have a playoff start and everything tightens up even more.
Yeah, absolutely. Another area you guys are excelling. I was taking a look at this penalty kill, 2nd ranked in the league at 87%, and that's got to make you happy as well.
Well, that was one of the reasons I was brought in, was the team, for whatever reason, was taking far too many penalties, so they had lots of practice killing penalties. Now, you know, players are held accountable and they're responsible to each other. The penalties now have gone down to about 8 to 10 minutes a game. So, you know, you're giving up 4 to 5 power plays a game. And if you can run around that 88 to 92 clip, you're be in good shape by the time everything works itself out.
Yeah, Drake Board has been the man for the Tigers this year. He's leading the team in scoring, averaging over a point per game. Just talk about Drake for a bit and what it is that he brings to the Tigers.
Well, this is Drake's 3rd year. So, you know, he's a leader. He's got an A on his sweater. He's like a little pest out there, and he's skating. That's what he does best. I was a bit disappointed he didn't make the Canada East team. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but
you are.
I said to Mario Tequila that I thought he should have made it. Plus, he played there last year, and they probably could have used him.
A bit of experience there, yeah. Obviously, as mentioned, your D very strong this year. We'll talk about a couple of the main pieces. Alex Fotinos and Kyle Locke. Let's start with Locke. He's an excellent defenseman for you guys, and he's actually one of the leading scorers amongst all D-men in the league as well.
Yeah, Kyle we got from North Bay last year, but he was a high pick in the 2nd round to Guelph a few years back. And it didn't work out in the O, so he's come back. He's a local Aurora boy, and he's been excellent. He shoots the puck like a pro, skates like a pro. Unfortunately, with some of the rules that you can't hit as much, it takes away from his game a bit. As we all know, he's benched last year for what we thought was a clean hit, but the powers to be thought different, and it really cost us playing Kingston last year.
And the team's having a great battle right now, as we talked about, with Markham for 1st place in the North. As someone who's been involved with the league for a long time, watching the Waxers disperse a few years ago was unfortunate for the league. But it's great having them back in the league now, and it's a great natural rivalry for you guys. It's picked up again, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Good ownership over there with Stu Hyman, brought the Hamilton franchise back. It makes the travel a bit easier, and both sets of fans come into our rink or their rink, so that makes the rivalry even better. And Markham right now is a very good hockey team. They got 4 lines deep. They just picked up Sameo from Milton, who was in Aurora last year. He stabilized the goaltending there. And we're going to have our work cut out.
Yeah, it's
to catch them.
It's going to be a lot of fun watching you guys the rest of the year and going back and forth with you guys. Have been trading 1st and 2nd all year. But listen, Thomas, I wanted to say thanks so much for being here, and happy holidays.
Thanks, and happy holidays to the rest of the OJHL.
Excellent. More OJ today. Coming back in just a second.
Remember neutral zone, we gotta be moving our feet from off the middle.
How do you see it? Kind of like it? Yeah, I like it. Now I get a good shot, then I do a backup shot.
Number 23, Cameron Littner. And starting in goal, number 1, Connor McCollum. For the rest of the
Welcome back. Well, trying to squeeze all these great game highlights each week into a half-hour show can be quite the undertaking, but hopefully it makes for some entertaining television. And what's even better is when we combine the best of the best to do an end-of-the-year package. So sit back and enjoy some of the top plays from the OJ this year.
Lorenzo tapping for the puck. Shot, shoot, scores! Lorenzo from the point.
Of windows, here shoots and scores! And Jacome, back to Joe, he moves up, he shoots. There's a rebound, oh, what a save by Lewis! He robbed Brendan Jacome with the glove, oh, baby! What a save by Tyler Lewis to preserve the come from behind victory.
Up top, Bruce, rebound, goal! St. Ange, in front, Scott! Jeffrey!
And Mucci again with it. And Bryce, oh, what a pass save by Masters! He robbed Brothers, Mucci again. Oh, Masters!
Cut their man up, Michaelis, gave it away, in front, stop, rebound, oh, it was behind him, good save, oh my!
Whipping out of his hands in front of his court, left alone, oh, what a save there by White! Doing the old sprawl, looking a little like Dominic Hasek there with the arms.
for the Flyers. Smilsky gets it to DiLorenzo, and he scores! John DiLorenzo gets the overtime winner.
The Royals have done a goal!
And that's all the time we've got for this week. Just remember, though, to head to the league website at ojhl.ca for all the up-to-date news, stats, and standings, on Twitter at OJHLofficial, and, of course, at facebook.com/OJHLofficial. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great holiday, everyone, and we will be back next week in 2016.